Will the Chinese yuan replace the dollar as the world's most important currency? Beijing is working hard to make that happen. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. Chinese strongman Xi Jinping wants his country to replace the U.S. as the globe's superpower. A crucial initiative for this is supplanting the global role the U.S. dollar currently plays. De-dollarization, he calls it. Most trade is denominated in dollars, and most reserves in central banks around the world are dollars. The greenback is also the primary reserve asset for many international agencies. So eyebrows have risen with special arrangements China has made using the yuan. In a recent deal, China's state-owned China National Offshore Oil Corporation is paying yuan to France's Giant Total Energies for liquefied natural gas. China and Saudi Arabia are closing in on an agreement whereby China would pay for oil in yuan rather than dollars. China is pressuring other parties when it can to use the yuan. China is the biggest direct foreign investor in Africa and is now a major investor in other parts of the world. It is rivaling the IMF and the World Bank in loans to developing countries. Now, many politicians, pundits, and policymakers question whether the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency can be maintained. Our economy has floundered for most of this century, with growth rates far below our historic average. Our public sector debts are ballooning as wasteful spending remains unchecked. Our central bank is dangerously clueless about inflation. So is the dollar doomed? Will the yuan become the preferred international currency? The answer is no. Countries like Saudi Arabia are harboring deep diplomatic grievances and concerns about our blundering foreign policy, and it will do yuan-denominated deals to express dissatisfaction with Washington. Brazil's new socialist president is doing it to vent his animosity towards the U.S. France's petulant president is pushing his preposterous pretensions to be a big-deal global maker and shaker at the expense of the U.S. But U.S. financial markets are deeper, more sophisticated, and more liquid than any others. China's are still behind. Beijing imposes strict capital controls, an anathema to global traders. Yuan itself remains less convertible than the dollar or the euro. Global payments in yuan are under 3%. Only 2.7% of central bank reserves of other countries are held in yuan. So for all the abuses we've inflicted on it, the U.S. dollar is vastly more trusted than the currency of a truculent authoritarian regime. But China could take a great leap forward if it figured out how to link the yuan to gold. A gold-backed currency was absolutely key to the rise of once small and weak entities like Holland, then Britain, and finally the U.S. to become global financial powerhouses. The best way to counter China is for Washington to get its economic act together. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.